need to retire the phrase dog whistle. And certainly when we're talking about this administration, it's well beyond the time that we ever need to use that phrase again, because they are not even being secretive about what their intentions are. Let me explain. So take a look at this picture. And this picture was recently tweeted out on Truth Social, and Trump claims that he's on a mission from God and people should get ready. That in and of itself is problematic, because you're talking about an 80-year-old, addled, 400-pound fat orange moron who craps his diaper, making the claim that he's on a mission from God. Whenever you're talking about Messianic death cults, it's never a good thing. That is bad in and of itself. And you pair that with the fact that this 400-pound fat orange chicken is now making the claim that Biden was executed in 2020 and has been replaced by clones and robots. You get a sense for how unhinged this idiot is. But it gets worse. When I was saying that we need to retire the phrase dog whistle when it comes to this regime, here's what I mean. When you look closer into the picture, what's that in the corner? What you see in that corner is Pepe the Frog. And Pepe the Frog is a white nationalist dog whistle that's used by the alt-right and right-wing and Nazis to mobilize their troops. So here you have a president who thinks Biden was replaced by clones, telling people of his base that he's on a mission from God, and embedding a white nationalist dog whistle into that meme. That tells you right away what their intentions are. They want a race war. Don't believe me? There's more. Now, we've already known that this regime loves all of the white nationalist groups that are operating in this country. We've actually seen evidence of that by them pardoning the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys and other individuals who were involved with the January 6th insurrection. In fact, they've gone out of their way to even embed white nationalists into their cabinet. Sebastian Gorka is a white nationalist, Pete Hegseth is a white nationalist, and Stephen Miller is another white nationalist, and having those people in power is a signal to the militarized wing of their regime to be ready for action when called upon. And it's no surprise that you see activity by people like groups like Patriot Front, Proud Boys, and Oath Keepers starting to ramp up. Recently, the Patriot Front marched in Missouri, and what do you notice about their marching regalia? All of their faces are covered, and in some cases, their arms are covered, their legs are covered, so you cannot identify anything on their person. Why would you do that? Well, one of the main reasons why you would cover up and conceal anything that's visible is so that you can hide identifying tattoos. And when you're talking about these white nationalist groups, they're nothing but domestic terrorists and gangs, and one of the ways that you can identify gangs is through their tattoos. In fact, in those instances where ICE agents have been captured on camera with identifying marks, what do you notice? You notice that they are also rocking white nationalist tattoos, and it explains why they're concealing their identities. On top of operating as a domestic terrorist militarized group, ICE agents, along with their white nationalist allies, they're operating freely and openly and terrorizing every person that they can find, but especially brown and black folks. This is a signal, and it's a signal that is echoed at the highest levels of the organization. While these people were marching in the streets, what was the Secretary of Defense doing? He was giving a speech on Memorial Day, and what does his pocket square show? His pocket square is a call out to the same flag that the domestic terrorists of the Patriot Front were flying in their marches all across the country, and especially in Missouri. So when I say that we need to retire the whole phrase dog whistle when it comes to this administration, this is what I mean. At all levels of this regime, there are active call-outs and signals being given to the Nazi brown shirts that they're aligned with, and it feels like this is something that's building to something bigger. This is an administration that has been stymied by the fact that black and brown folks have stayed home in these protests where millions of people have showed up, because it's robbed them of the opportunity to declare a race war, and that's what they're actually hoping for. This administration, plain and simple, is a front for white nationalists all around the country and the globe. So those 77 million people that voted to put them in, they are either overtly or covertly approving every single terrorist action of this regime. So let's cut it out with the dog whistle crap. It's not a dog whistle. It's a tornado siren.